So this is really part 2 of Kamala Harris's interview with this Action News reporter. I had to take a break and go to sleep and recover from part 1 because I've never seen a politician dodge questions and give the biggest non-answers to a reporter in my life. And her answers were precisely the same answers in the presidential debate.
What are one or two specific things you have in mind for them?
Well, I'll start with this. I grew up a middle-class kid.
Probably because, as I've said before, because she bunkered down and memorized the talking points from days on end. But I figured I'd give her another shot. Maybe she can give more insight to her policy positions.
You talked at the debate and at previous appearances about turning the page on the past. And in fact, here today in Johnstown, you're talking about a new way forward. Yeah. I think some people have a question, given maybe your current role as Vice President of the United States, how different you are from Joe Biden. And so I wonder if there are one or two spots, policy areas or approaches where you would say, I'm a different person.
Well, I'm obviously not Joe Biden. And, you know, I offer a new generation of leadership. And so, for example, thinking about developing and creating an opportunity economy.
So at the beginning of the interview, she was originally asked to expand on the opportunity economy. And so now that she just got asked, what's the difference between you and Joe Biden? And her answer is an opportunity economy. Is she saying that the economy that she created with Joe Biden and the Biden-Harris administration is not an opportunity economy and she would do something different? If that's the case, why doesn't she just test the waters right now, create it right now?
Where it's about investing in areas that really need a lot of work, and maybe focusing on, again, the aspirations and the dreams, but also just recognizing that at this moment in time, some of the stuff we could take for granted years ago, we can't take for granted anymore. For example, another plan that I have that is a new approach is to expand the child tax credit to $6,000 for young families for the first year of their child's life, because that is obviously a very critical stage of development of a child. And a lot of young parents need the help to buy a car seat or a crib or clothes for their kids. And so my approach is about new ideas.
So this was exactly the same response that she gave in the debate yet again. And the child tax credit is not a new idea. Trump actually said he was going to bring one forward, $5,000. And magically, Kamala Harris came up with the child tax credit of $6,000. So it's like a bidding war between the two at this point. But it's another major big non-answer where she said, we're going to invest in areas. What areas? We're going to help with the aspirations and dreams of people. Wow, this is so uplifting. This makes me really want to vote for you. I am totally convinced by your words. But it comes back to the same question anytime she answers a question on what she's going to do in this country. Why haven't you done it in the past 3.5 years? You were the Vice President of the United States.
New policies that are directed at the current moment. And also, to be very honest with you, my focus is very much in what we need to do over the next 10, 20 years to catch up to the 21st century around, again, capacity, but also challenges.
Yeah, you can see it in this man's eye that he is not tracking down what she is putting down. Like, I don't even know what she's talking about at this point, and I don't think she does either. It's like words are primary to Kamala when speaking, but meaning is nothing to her.
Crime and public safety are two major issues right at the forefront of voters' minds. In Philadelphia as well, where crime is a significant issue. When we talk about crime, the conversation turns to gun safety as well. And I think you actually probably caught a lot of people off guard, maybe a bit by surprise in the debate the other night when you mentioned that you are a gun owner. I know you said it in 2019 as well. I want to talk about your values on this issue.
My values haven't changed. That's what she really wants to say right now. I think there's like a vein in her neck that's throbbing, waiting to say that moment.
When it comes to gun ownership, where do you draw the line in America on gun ownership and gun use?
Well, like you said, Brian, I am a gun owner, and Tim Walz, my running mate, is also a gun owner. We're not taking anybody's guns away. I support the Second Amendment, and I support reasonable gun safety laws.
Like what? What gun restriction that is not already in place in this country does she want to put forward that's going to change the game in gun laws? That's what I want to know, and she's not able to give that answer because she doesn't even know that answer herself. And that's contrary to what she said back in 2019. Do I need to roll the clip?
Do you believe in the mandatory buyback of quote-unquote assault weapons? And whether or not you do, how does that idea not go against fundamentally the Second Amendment?
Yeah, great question. I do believe that we need to do buybacks, and I'll tell you why. part of my approach to this is I was a career prosecutor for most of my career. I have personally prosecuted homicide cases. I have personally looked at autopsies. I have personally seen what assault weapons do to the human body.
That's kind of a lame argument because have you seen what cars and knives do to the human body? Or is it the person that does it to the human body? Guns haven't changed significantly over the past years, but we've had more mental health problems than ever before. It's easy to blame guns if you think of things through a two-dimensional perspective. If you actually want to get to the root cause of why there's more active shooting incidents, you would turn towards social media and its negative effect on society.
And so I feel very strongly that it is consistent with the Second Amendment and your right to own a gun to also say we need an assault weapons ban. They're literally tools of war. They were literally designed to kill a lot of human beings quickly. I say we need universal background checks. The majority of NRA members support that. Why? Because it's just reasonable. You just might want to know before someone can buy a lethal weapon if they've been found by a court to be a danger to themselves or others. You just might want to know.
Two final questions, if I might.
Sure.
On the appeal of the man you were running against, as you drove here today, you likely saw a lot of Trump signs. Mm-hmm. He has an historic appeal in this country. And as you are someone running against him and trying to understand that, I wonder how you distill it. What do you understand his appeal to be? And how do you speak to his voters? Or maybe people who just share his values but are open to something else?
I, based on experience and a lived experience, no. In my heart, I know, in my soul, I know that the vast majority of us as Americans have so much more in common than what separates us. And I also believe that I am accurate in knowing that most Americans want a leader who brings us together as Americans and not someone who professes to be a leader who is trying to have us point our fingers at each other. I think people are exhausted with that approach, to be honest with you. I think people want a leader who has common sense and tries to find common ground. I'm supported by over 200 Republicans.
Initially, it felt like she was talking about Donald Trump, but what do I know? But I don't think bragging about having Dick Cheney endorse you is really a good brag because these are the most pro-war people in this country. He literally profited off of the Iraq war through the oil company Halliburton, in which he was CEO prior to being vice president. I made a detailed video on that, but he was able to send government money to Halliburton as vice president through having them work with our military and was found to be making money during his vice presidency. It's actually a massive scandal that no one talks about anymore.
Who worked for both Presidents Bush, John McCain, and Mitt Romney. I'm supported by the former Vice President Dick Cheney, former Congress member Liz Cheney. And I think people are more willing now, in light of the hate and division that we see coming out of Donald Trump, to say, hey, let's put country first. And I think that just makes us stronger and more healthy as a country. To say, look, we can all debate our differences around, various policies, but let's stop with the division. Like, enough of that. Let's bring everybody together.
Yeah, if it was only that simple, just stop the division, everyone. Stop it right now. Maybe if we stop sending money to foreign countries. Maybe if we stop having our border wide open and prioritizing the illegal immigrants. How about we stop sexualizing our children? Maybe we'll be able to bring our country better together if we do all those things. But anyways, bragging about Liz Cheney and Mitt Romney supporting you is also not a good look. They can have those type of Republicans all they want. We will take Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr. every day of the week.
And finally, as you introduce yourself to America in a new way, they've heard much of your story at the Democratic National Convention and in that debate earlier this week. If there's one thing that you wish Americans knew about who Kamala Harris is that you don't think they know yet, what would that be?
I don't know. I mean, probably it's not very different from anybody watching right now. I love my family. One of my favorite things that I lately have not been able to do is Sunday family dinner. I love to cook. I have incredible friends. My best friend from kindergarten is still my best friend. I think that, I mean, I have a career that really, and I said it the other day, you know, as a career prosecutor, I never asked a victim of crime, were they a Republican or a Democrat. The only thing I ever asked them is, are you okay? And I think that's the approach that most Americans want, regardless of who they voted for in the last election, in terms of turning the page and charting the way forward.
I imagine you're looking forward to cooking Sunday dinner again.
I am looking forward. Yes, I am looking forward to cooking. With the whole family gets involved, the kids each have their role. Yeah.
Well, it's a beautiful family, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Pleasure meeting you.
I am officially switching my vote from Kamala to Trump because she likes to cook and has a kindergarten best friend. But again, another answer that was exactly the same from the debate. Are you okay? No, I'm not okay.